serious.
Hey guys, hope you are going well. So let me start by saying I honestly was not planning on doing a review for this movie. I really wasn't, but somehow, you know, here we are. Aquaman is of course what we are talking about today. It is the latest comic book movie from DC, and I am not about the DC comic book world. I've not liked any of the movies except Wonder Woman. You probably guessed that. I loved Wonder Woman. I thought that was fantastic and a good exception to the rule. But yeah, generally as a rule, DC is not my cup of tea. So let's delve into that Aquaman review, bearing that in mind. So we've seen Jason Momoa take on Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman, before in Justice League, where that movie pretty much sidelined him to a one-liner punchline kind of guy, but they did get across his reluctant hero, surly, bad boy type vibes, plus abs. Abs plus hair equals Jason Momoa. Like, let me tell you, all I saw was abs and hair. Was there something else to see? Because I didn't see it. So in this Aquaman, directed by James Wan, who has his roots in the horrorverse, this was following up to Justice League. They threw that in there. This is post Justice League, post Steppenwolf villain. And Aquaman takes us back to an origin story of Aquaman. The origin story. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say it's an origin story comic book movie. Did I like it? As opposed to asking if I liked it, did I think this was a fun movie? Yes, I do think it's a really fun movie. Okay, let's break it down. I don't know how to structure this review because there's nothing really to say about the story. It's an origin story. So we're gonna learn the roots of Arthur Curry, his introduction to Atlantis, and how he takes up the mantle, takes up the trident, and becomes and embraces his inner Aquaman. When I said I think it's fun, I do think there is a lot of dazzling spectacle. I do think it's a big popcorn movie and you are getting your bang for your buck, so to speak. I will say that I'm so glad that I did not see this in 3D because my eyes were like popping out of their sockets with the array of CGI spectacle. There is a lot going on, and especially in the big action climax with like mermen riding sharks and lasers and ships and giant octopus creatures. There is so much going on, and my eyes were just like popping out of their sockets, but kind of not in a good way, in an oversaturated type of way. Jason Momoa does a solid job as Aquaman, but it's really because he gets away with bringing his own personal energy to the role. Like, if you've seen Jason Momoa in any type of press interviews, you can really see that his portrayal of Aquaman is so much of himself. There was even one moment in the film where he's listening to some instructions and he's kind of like standing almost like with a hand on a hip, just kind of nonchalantly listening, and that really felt like a very Jason Momoa pose, very cool, calm, casual. And he definitely does have the charisma and the abs to take on this kind of hero performance. There just wasn't necessarily a lot of depth. Where the movie does its proudest is when it's like embracing the sci-fi element of the CGI world of Atlantis. I thought that was built up really well, and they inject a lot of mythology behind Atlantis and lineage of royalty and the way that things are done there, and I really enjoyed that element. They do overuse the CGI when it comes to the battle stuff, but the general Atlantis vibe, I thought they did that really well, because it's not easy to think of a way of how to portray underwater without it feeling too underwater, if you know what I mean. Now, my most despised element of the whole film was totally Mira, the character Mira played by Amber Heard. I thought she was just so terrible in all of the ways that it could be terrible. I didn't like her performance, I didn't like her character, I didn't understand any of her character motivations, and I especially did not buy the chemistry between her and Jason Momoa. I thought it was really stiff, it was forced in this cheesy way. I almost felt like maybe James Wan knew that he didn't quite have the chemistry there between them, so instead he tried to force it in an edit, in kind of inserting like cheesy like rom-com kind of edits between the way they look at each other, and yeah, I was just not about it. Not about it. No, I've not even mentioned the villains. Just to breeze over them quickly, you've got the sort of central villain, which is Aquaman's half-brother Orm, and I thought he was great, played by Patrick Wilson, and stellar performance of the film. He's the only one that gives layers to his villain. So he's maniacal, so he does the superhero villain well, but then he also has depth to him, which I appreciated. But the other secondary villain was Black Manta, who they gave an origin story and good motivations for why he hates Aquaman and how he comes to be Black Manta, but then it just kind of fizzles out and doesn't get any kind of round out at the back end. So that was a shame. Okay, there you have it, guys. They are my non-spoilery thoughts, well, as non-spoilery as I could possibly make them, on Aquaman. I do give it a passing grade. I don't think it was great. I still prefer Wonder Woman. I guess it kind of does go pretty high up in the DC movie list for me, but that is only by default because the bar is set pretty low. Yeah, would not go ahead and see this one again anytime soon, but yeah, I had fun with it, I will say. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget, you can also subscribe to my channel here. Keep up to date with all things movies and TV. If you're interested, I could do a spoiler chat about Aquaman. I'd love to talk to you more about what exactly I didn't like and what exactly like really bothered me about certain moments. We could get stuck into that. If you're interested, let me know. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.